Disclaimer: this content is intended for mature audiences only. Viewer discretion is advised. My name is Maya. I'm 32, and right now, I feel like I'm unraveling, piece by piece, in a way I never expected. There's a story I've been holding inside, a secret wrapped in shame and confusion, and it's been eating me alive. Maybe confessing it aloud will give me some clarity. Or maybe it'll just deepen the ache. It all started with a video from years ago. A video of me with 3 guys, caught in a moment I never thought would resurface. And now, he's acting like I lied about who I am. Like that moment defines me in some way I don't even recognize anymore. I remember when our relationship felt like a warm fire on a cold night. Safe. Electric. Sexy in ways that had nothing to do with sex itself. Back then, Lucas would pull me close without a word, like he was saying, "I'm here. You're mine." Our kisses were full of promises, not questions. When he touched me, it was with reverence, like I was fragile glass he was scared to break. We fit in ways that felt effortless, like breathing. Now it's different. The kiss lingers but feels hollow, like a rehearsed scene missing its spark. His hands that used to explore with hunger now sometimes feel like they're just going through the motions, brushing against me with distracted fingers, as if I'm a stranger in the room. We cuddle, sometimes, but the warmth slips through my fingers, cold and distant, like he's holding on for my sake, not his. Last night, he hugged me after dinner. Not that loose, easy embrace I used to crave, but a tight grip that felt more like a demand. Like I owed him something I couldn't give anymore. I'm telling you this because it's been slowly eating at me. This feeling that I'm fading into a version of myself I barely recognize. And the worst part? I don't know when exactly it started. When did the safety turn into suspicion? When did his affection become an interrogation? It was a few weeks ago. I remember the day with painful clarity. We were sitting on the couch, the silence between us heavy and unspoken. Then he pulled out his phone, that cold screen glowing in the dim light, and showed me the video. The video of me with those 3 guys years ago, a night I had buried deep beneath layers of who I thought I was supposed to be. His eyes weren't just disappointed. They were accusing. Like he was seeing someone else, someone he never met. And I realized in that moment, the person I'm with doesn't know me. Or maybe he never did. That's when I felt the distance, a cold wall rising between us, one I don't know how to climb over. And I don't even know if I want to. Because the truth is, part of me wonders if he's right. If I lied about who I am. If I've been pretending all this time, hoping he'd love me anyway. So here I am. Stripped bare, sharing this with you because it's the only way I can stop drowning in it. Because if I don't say it out loud, I might lose myself completely. Lucas is an ER doctor. His world is chaos, life and death decisions, adrenaline surges, endless nights of tension. Coming home to me should be a refuge. At least, that's what I've told myself. But lately, it feels like he's bringing the chaos with him, and it's suffocating. The night after he showed me that video, I watched him try. He came home late, exhausted but insistent on being present. He kissed me, that same kiss, soft and lingering, but I could feel the tension under his skin, like he was trying to hold himself together after a long day in trauma wards. I wanted to reach for him, to bridge the space between us, but all I felt was a barrier. He ran his hand down my arm, fingers brushing with intention, but it felt too fast, too rehearsed, like he was trying to fix something broken with touches instead of words. I flinched without meaning to, and he pulled back, confused. I wanted to say, "Not like this. I don't need your hands right now. I need you to see me." But the words stuck, lodged somewhere in my throat. We ended up sitting side by side on the couch, the silence growing heavier. I tried to tell him about the ache inside me, the fear that maybe the man I loved was slipping away, or worse, that maybe he never really saw me at all. But the words came out fragmented, fragile, easy to misinterpret. I just want to feel like you know me again, I finally whispered. Lucas looked at me with tired eyes, swallowing hard. Maya, I'm here. I'm trying. Work is hell, but I come home to you. That should have been enough. It should have been a bomb. But it wasn't. Because I realized what I craved wasn't just his presence, but his understanding. His emotional presence. I needed to be held in a way that said, I see you. I know your story. I accept every part of you, even the parts you're scared to show. Instead, I was met with a hand that lingered too briefly, a touch that tried to fill the silence but ended up highlighting it. It was like he was trying to soothe a wound he didn't understand. The next morning, I made coffee while Lucas showered. The smell of shampoo mixed with his cologne should have comforted me. Instead, it underscored how separate we'd become. When he came out, still dripping, he reached for me, pulling me into a hug. His body was warm and solid, but his arms felt like they were closing in, not holding, but restraining. I wanted to melt into him, but instead I stiffened, like a breath held too long. Tell me what you need, he said quietly. And there it was, the moment I wanted to break down or break free. But I didn't know what I needed exactly, only that it wasn't this. I wanted honesty, not half-truths. I wanted vulnerability, not the kind of tough love that sometimes feels like a shield. I don't know, I said, voice trembling. I want you to see me. To really see me. He nodded, wiping water from his hair. I'm sorry if I've made you feel unseen. It was the first crack in the wall, but the distance between us was still there, a canyon filled with all the things we couldn't say. That day, I went to work at the bookstore, surrounded by stories of love and loss. I wanted to lose myself in fiction, but all I could think about was us, the man who held me like a stranger, the woman I was becoming, and the video that had shattered everything. Lucas always tries to reach me, but lately, I feel like I'm slipping farther away, even when he's right there. Last night was one of those nights. We were on the couch, the TV flickering, but I barely noticed the show. He moved closer, his hand resting lightly on my knee. It should have felt comforting, familiar, but instead, I tensed like I'd been shocked. I could feel my heart quicken in that way it used to when I wanted him, but now it just confused me. He gave a small, hopeful smile. Hey. I forced a smile back, but inside, I was retreating. When he leaned in for a kiss, I barely registered it, no warmth, no spark, just the faint pressure of lips meeting lips. I pulled back almost immediately, suddenly feeling a knot of guilt and frustration twist in my chest. What's wrong? Lucas asked, his voice low, concerned. I don't know, I admitted, staring at the floor. I guess I just can't. He sighed, his hand dropping from my knee to the couch. Then, with a nervous laugh, he gave me a quick, playful slap on my backside, the kind of touch that used to make me laugh and lean into him. But this time? I flinched, stiffening like I'd been hit. Lucas paused, brows furrowed. Maya? I'm sorry, I whispered. It's not you. He reached out again, more gently this time, but I pulled away. Not harshly, just distant. I want it, I said, my voice cracking. I want you. But I don't know how anymore. Lucas's face softened. We can figure it out. Together. But all I could feel was a chasm between us, widening with every missed connection. Later, when he went to bed, I lay awake staring at the ceiling, replaying every touch, every glance. How did we get here? How did the man I loved turn into someone I couldn't reach? Why does everything have to turn into sex? I wanted more than that, more than physical. I needed his heart, his soul. But I felt invisible beneath the skin, like I was just a body he was trying to reclaim. And that hurt more than anything. The night we were supposed to celebrate our anniversary, I felt the weight of everything crashing down inside me. Lucas had planned a quiet dinner at home, candles, soft music, the kind of evening I used to dream about when we first fell in love. But instead of feeling warmth, I felt cold. Hollow. We sat across from each other at the small table, plates barely touched. Lucas reached for my hand, and for a second, I thought maybe this time would be different. "I love you, Maya," he said, voice steady but tired. "I want to move past that video. I want to believe in us again." But the words felt like a stranger's. Like he was speaking to someone I used to be, someone I'm not sure I want to be anymore. Tears welled up suddenly, and before I could stop them, they spilled over. "You don't love me," I whispered, voice breaking. "You love this idea of me, the person you want me to be. But you don't know who I really am. And maybe you never did." Lucas pulled his hand back, shocked. "That's not true. Isn't it?" I asked, voice rising despite myself. "You saw that video and suddenly everything changed. Like I lied about my past. Like I'm some kind of, I don't know, a mistake you didn't expect." He was silent, his eyes darkening. "Maya, that was years ago. I was scared. I didn't know how to process it." "Well, I'm scared now," I snapped. "Because I feel like I'm losing you. Or maybe I already lost you, and I'm just pretending it's okay." The tension in the room was thick enough to choke on. I wanted to scream, to run, but I stayed, because even though it hurt, it was the only way I could break through this silence between us. Lucas finally spoke, voice low and guarded. "I don't know how to fix this." Neither did I. After the storm, I sat alone in the dark living room, my body trembling from the release I hadn't known I needed. Guilt clawed at me, for yelling, for breaking the fragile peace. But deeper than that was confusion. Shame. The ache of knowing I'd exposed my rawest wounds and was still left wondering if they'd heal. I thought about that video again. How it haunted us like a ghost we refused to acknowledge. How it became a symbol for everything that's changed between us, trust broken, desires misunderstood, love tested. I wanted to believe we could find our way back. But maybe first, I had to find myself. Days passed like heavy fog between us. The easy rhythm we once had, laughing over morning coffee, brushing hands while passing in the kitchen, faded into a cold, quiet routine. Lucas became a ghost in our home, distant and withdrawn, as if he was carrying the weight of the world on his shoulders. I watched him from across the room sometimes, trying to read the lines of exhaustion on his face. The way his eyes would darken just before sleep, or how he'd sometimes sit at the edge of the bed, staring at nothing. He wasn't angry with me, not really. He was hurting too. I saw the sadness there, the guilt for what he couldn't fix, and maybe the shame he felt about how things fell apart. I missed the man who used to pull me close with a laugh, the one who made me feel like I mattered beyond all the mistakes and secrets. But every time I reached out, through a touch, a question, a hopeful look, I was met with silence or something too fragile to hold on to. One evening, I caught him looking at that same old video on his phone again, the screen's cold light reflecting in his tired eyes. I wanted to tell him it's okay, that I'm still here, still me. But the words stuck in my throat, tangled with my own fears. Maybe I'm scared too, scared that trying again means opening wounds that won't heal. Or worse, that we're just pretending to hold on when we're already gone. I'm caught between wanting to fight for us and wondering if walking away might be the only way to find myself again. Tonight, as I lie awake beside him, I don't have an answer. But I know this, whatever happens next, I have to be honest with myself. Because love isn't supposed to hurt this much. One quiet evening, Lucas and I sat side by side on the worn-out couch, the kind of silence between us that felt less heavy this time. No words at first, just the slow rhythm of two people trying to remember how to breathe together. I reached out, hesitating, and rested my hand lightly over his. He didn't pull away. "I'm scared," I whispered. "Scared that I'm not the woman you thought I was, scared that maybe I don't even know who I am anymore." He squeezed my hand gently. "I'm scared too," he said. "Not because of that video, or your past. But because I lost sight of us." I stopped listening. We talked then, really talked, for the first time in weeks. About trust, about who we want to be, and what we need to feel safe again. We set small boundaries, no assumptions, no silent judgments. Just honesty, even when it hurts. Later, as I prepared to go to bed, Lucas didn't follow. Instead, I found him asleep on the couch, exhausted but peaceful. I sat beside him, brushing a stray lock of hair from his forehead, and kissed him there, in the quiet, tender way that says, "I'm here. I haven't given up. It's not perfect. I'm still scared. But maybe, just maybe, it's a beginning." If you've listened this far, thank you. Maybe you see a little of yourself in my story, or maybe you don't, but I want to share what I've learned, not just about love, but about who I am. For so long, I thought love was about passion and trust, about safety and excitement all wrapped in one. I thought that if someone loved me, they'd accept every part of my past, the good, the messy, the shameful, without hesitation. But what I learned is that love isn't just a feeling. It's a choice. A daily decision to see someone, truly see them, even when it's hard. That video, the one Lucas found, wasn't some secret truth I was hiding. It was part of my story, yes, but it didn't define me. And yet, when he saw it, something inside him shifted. He looked at me like I was suddenly a stranger. And maybe I was. Because sometimes, we carry masks we don't even know we're wearing, masks to protect ourselves, or to fit into the story someone else wants to tell. I realized that desire isn't just about touch or kisses. It's about connection. Emotional intimacy first. Feeling safe enough to be vulnerable. When that's missing, everything else feels hollow, even if the physical closeness is there. And that's why I pulled away. Not because I stopped loving him, but because I was scared of losing myself in a version of love that didn't see me. The frustration, the coldness between us, it wasn't just his failing or mine. It was the space where we stopped listening, where fear took over. I don't have all the answers. Maybe Lucas and I will rebuild something new, or maybe we'll walk separate ways. Both feel like a kind of loss. But what I do know is this: I have to love myself first. I have to know my worth beyond anyone else's judgment or doubts. So if you're holding on to something, a past you're ashamed of, a love that's slipping away, or a truth you're afraid to speak, remember this: you are more than your mistakes. More than the stories others tell about you. Your past doesn't define your future. And sometimes, the hardest thing is not to prove yourself to the world, but to accept yourself. Love, real love, starts there. Thank you for listening. 9.